Peace, Vandals and Vandalettes. It's the Guard Mathematics, and you now listening to the Vandal Hour, Season 7, live on S.STREET Media. If you trying to find any of our old or new episodes, you got to go to www.sstreetmedia.net, the new joint, or you can go to the old one at www.sstreetmedia.info. You got to also check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever platform that is popping. Except for Snapchat, I don't do that. But we're on every other platform that you could think of. Catch us when we come on. I would say Saturdays, but we haven't been keeping up to that. So whenever we on, we on. But tonight, I must say, this is a special one. Before I go into who I have with me tonight for this exclusive season 7 interview, I'm going to go down the rundown of all the people that came before me and hosted and helped me out with this Vandal Hour shit. So let me give my kudos to Brat, Giggles, Greaseboard, J-Lo, Mathematics, Facts on Wax, June 457, Sosa, Dre Kills, Bring That Back Dude, DJ Quest, Mr. 13, Buyer 3, Reps, Guest, DJ Swift, DJ EA, Darwin Queens, Paris, my cousin Justice, and Chris and Little Bit. And if you didn't notice, I didn't say a name. A name I always say. So tonight, it is my pleasure and the Vandal Hour's pleasure to introduce to you my man, the original Vandal Hour guard, Sinatra.
What up? What up?
How you doing, guard?
I'm good, man. Just chilling, moving around, doing what we got to do to keep it going.
You know, for a lot of people, man, you was an intricate part to what we where we are at now as the Vandal Hour and where we came from. I appreciate everything that you have done for the Vandal Hour, man, and you was like the Don Madden League of the Vandal Hour. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you even being on the show. What's up, though? What you been up to, man?
I've just been chilling, working. You know what I mean? Well, let me say this though: the Vandal Hour was definitely one of the best radio experiences that I've ever had. Just meeting the people and getting to know more about that underground world. It was a learning process for me, even though it might have looked like to other people that I was just like enjoying myself, but it was a learning process. And for those that tune in still and support the Vandal Hour, if there was any confusion or never had a fallout, we never had any bad situations up there. Me and the guard always on good terms. I just had to take time off to do other things and get my shit situated, but just so we get that clear.
That's a
with
fact. That's a
everybody.
fact. That's a fact. Cause I know a lot of people probably like, yo, what the fuck happened? Did they? It's some beef or something? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no. I mean, I know you spoke about it before, but me and Mathematics, the guard, go way back before the Vandal Hour, before radio, before we even thought
Way,
about
way, way,
radio.
way.
So, you know what I mean? I say, now that we on, I haven't spoke to you guys in a minute. I just wanted to put that out there that there was never no negativity between me and the guard. We always been on the same page and good terms. I just had to take a break and, do a couple of other things to get my stuff situated. But, behind the scenes, we always in contact. He keep me in tune to what's going on all the time. And it's always going to be like that. Like it's family before even the business. You know what I
Before
mean?
before the business, you know, and let me just say this: a lot of people don't know that you have like you moved on to a situation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let the people know where you are working at if they don't know.
Yeah, so a lot of people know. For those who don't know, you know what I mean. When I first started the Vandal Hour, first of all, when I first started the Vandal Hour, I was just had started working. So I was doing crazy schedules. Like I would leave. We would do the show. We would sometimes get out of that station maybe 1 in the morning sometimes.
Facto.
And then I had to be at work by 7 in the morning. So it was worth all of the, late nights and early mornings and all of that. But I was working in KATZ Deli. I was in KATZ Delicatessen in the city. I started at the bottom in there, which is, if you know me and you know us, our inner circle, jobs wasn't always our thing. You know what I mean? So it took some time to adjust to that kind of life, and thank God, because it worked all out. And after a few years, I became an assistant manager in there. The guys over there treat me real good. So with that being becoming management, I had to invest a little bit more time into them. You know what I mean? Just so I could show my
Sure indeed.
respect back to them and make sure that I keep, my finances in tune. But I know a lot of people probably wondered, what happened to, Sinatra with Vandal. It was, if I could be there more, I would. But niggas getting older, shit take a, you know what I mean? That
Sure
rest
indeed.
is important, you know what I mean? But at the same time, if I could always be involved, I'm always there. God's always hitting me up. I know about everything that goes on with the Vandal Hour because he keeps me in tune. And let me say this, man, like I met so many people through there that it's crazy because I'll be at work at sometimes, even walking down the street,
I was gonna say
and
that.
I see people give me the look, and I don't be knowing what the look is. So I'm a cool dude. If you ever ran into me, if you know me, I say what up to everybody. I show love, but they'll give me the look like, "Is that?" And then they'll finally come up to me like, "You might not remember me because everybody wear masks on the show when we was doing the show. Everybody used to come masked up, and they'd be like, Sinatra, I know you from the Vandal Hour, and it still bugs me out. Like sometimes even that is similar to like getting a paycheck. You know what I mean? That feeling of recognition and knowing that sometimes you need a reality check of how important that show was for some people. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna give you an example of that, not to cut you off, but I was somewhere, I don't know where I was at, some event, and a younger brother, I'm gonna say, maybe early 20s, was
Uh-huh.
was like, "Yo, man, I think he heard my voice. I think I forgot how he made the connection, and he was like, "Yo, um, I watched the Vandal Hour, man." I was like, "Word, what you do?" He like, "I do graph and shit." I said, "Yo, um, I'm gonna put you on the show." He's like, "Get the fuck out of here, yo! You know how many times I wish to be on the show?" And that shit kind of fucked me up because you never know what the effect of
Uh-huh.
what you're doing on other people. You know,
Yeah, no, it's real. It's real. This show made me realize that though. Like, even as we started off as amateurs in the game, and it grew, and it was almost fun to us, being up there. We took it as a job, but later on, as the years went by and the seasons went by, you notice how some people, I'm not going to say depended on it, but really looked forward to hearing the show and the history and the interviews. And if you watch the Vandal Hour, it was mainly based on the graph topics,
world
but we've dealt with entrepreneurs and musicians and all types of people from all walks of earth, all colors, all from everywhere. We've even had people from out of the U.S.
facts.
come down to that show, which is pretty cool. You know what I mean? So like everybody out there doing radio. First of all, let me just shameless plug. S.TREET Media. You looking to do a podcast? You can go down there and holla at them. But let me tell you right now, the internet and especially podcasting is probably one of the strongest ways to get your sound out, to get your story out. If you can't do a show, you find somebody who has a show. I'm sure they'll book you and you'll be able to do your thing. It's one of the best ways to get out whatever you're doing right now. You know what I mean? The internet is free and is a large platform. So it was huge. Like the Vandal Hour is if you can't at this point talk about the graffiti and radio without mentioning that Vandal Hour show, you know what I mean? We brought a lot of people together, people you probably would never see in
Together.
in the same event or in the same room. And let me say, a lot of the events that were thrown by the Vandal Hour, which was surprising to me, not that I could remember of ever really had an issue. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
People think that this underground world is like, you know, it's different for people who've never been in it. But I will have to say that I've been to a lot of Vandal Hour events now that I think about it, and never no negativity. You know what I mean? Like I meet people there. People got I guess, a misconception about graph writers now. The thing is, if you don't know graph writers or a graph writer, um, they're not the most violent people, but they ain't suckers either. You know what I mean?
True indeed.
These are people that stick to do what they love and they stand for what they love. And you know, as long as you give them their space and you respect what they doing, they ain't gonna bother you. You know what I mean? But it is a world that is not spoke about enough, even to this day with the Vandal Hour. As much as you guys and we try to put out there, I remember, rest in peace, a lot of people that we've interviewed and wanted to interview,
True indeed.
um, that passed on and stuff. I
R
remember one time.
RET57.
Oh man, so many, even rappers. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And I remember the news contacting us,
True indeed. Channel One.
local news networks, because we had interviews.
We was in the now. We was in the
And
now. We was
I
tapped in.
I'm gonna tell you what's a crazy story that a lot of people don't know, that me and the God we spoke about this so many times, and it goes way back. For everybody who's listening, there's a lot of drama going on right now with this 6ix9ine, the artist, right?
I was going to get into that with you too.
Let me tell you a story about when Vandal Hour, right before or when the Vandal Hour started. We were approached about this artist 6ix9ine before he ever got as big as what he is now.
True indeed.
And we sat there and we talked about it. And at this moment in time, to be fair to him, to 6ix9ine, we weren't really thinking of artists, like music artists on the show. We were really trying to focus on the graph artists, because there were so many people to get to,
No,
in the beginning.
but you know what's funny? I thought he had something though.
Oh no, you said that. You definitely made the comment because there's confidence.
Yeah, it was like it seemed like he was on already and he wasn't on. You know what I mean? Like that's the energy he gave me. Like he was
Yeah.
on already. Like like his video, he had the fucking fly cars. He's connected with some of the
Hmm.
dudes from around the way, so be that we know. So we knew he was fucking with those type of niggas even before the blood people.
Yeah. And it was funny because I remember us talking about it, and we were like, I don't know, but you know what I mean. And you know what's crazy? It just sticks to what the Vandal Hour means. You know what I mean? Now that I think about it, like, we understand everybody's out there trying to do the thing, but you really have to be real about your stuff. And sometimes it's just a sign that you could pick up, that it's like maybe something told us this ain't the type of people that we deal with, or maybe even at that time it would have been bigger for us. But I just thought it was a crazy story. So basically, we didn't interview him, guys. That's basically what
That's a
happened.
fact.
We didn't take that
But
interview. You know what I mean?
but his name did cross the plate.
Oh, of course, many times we spoke about him when he was coming up in his career. We never turned the light off on anybody. If you out there and you're doing your thing and we get an ear to the music, or somebody puts us on and lets us know, we definitely talk about it on the show, because that's what we was about. It was putting it out. But the kid went through a few things, and let me say, a lot of people predicted that was going somewhat going to happen, especially a lot of people in our circle.
in the streets.
Yeah, basically in the streets, the people who know, like, there's never really a good ending to that. And let me say, if it didn't end the way it did now, with him basically telling, it would have ended in another bad way. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. I'm glad
So
you said that. I definitely say it was coming no matter what path he chose.
exactly, and because I did have conversations about it with other people, and I told them, listen, if it didn't happen this way, it was going to happen another way, because a lot of people played part in that, and not just him. You know what I mean? Main thing, people, like, I get people who hit me in my DM because of the Vandal Hour show, and I'm talking about recently when he just came home. Like, what do you think about this? You know what I
Mm.
mean? And and like I always say to them, where I come from, that's like at the top of the list. It's just something you don't do. You know what I mean? It it might be hard for some people to swallow who've never been involved in the streets or anything in that realm, but it's just something you don't do. Now, on the other side of that is, if you a street person, right? Money makes people do crazy shit. You know what I mean? So what happened there, in my opinion, is, if I'm in the street, if I'm a street person and I'm doing stuff that I don't want people to know about, you have to be very careful who you let in your circle.
Facts.
So, if I'm doing something that I don't want everybody to know about, I can't just bring any average person in there who I know can't hold water. But for the fact that they're bringing in some money, that's when it gets crazy for people. Like, that dollar causes people to do crazy things. So I think you know, it could have been avoided, and I understand where people went, and I think the kid is gonna have a very hard time. It's like, even being, being a rat is a hard life to live. You know what I
Even
mean?
for your children and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, even listen, to be rich and to be a rat, so you can't even really enjoy your money. You know what I mean? And your fame, and be around the people
Other
you
people
want to be
like
around.
you, yeah, yeah, true indeed.
Yeah, because if people probably still connect with him because of the check behind it. You know what I mean? I understand. Like, I remember we used to joke around when the Trump shit was going on. Like, yeah, Trump sent me $1 million. It's you know what I mean? It's Trump all day. You know what I mean? But it was as a joke for all the dudes that listen in, or go listen into this interview. You know what I mean? I would never co-sign something like that, and it doesn't matter if it was 6ix9ine. It doesn't matter if it was somebody broke. You know what I mean? If you chose that life, you know the rules, And at the same time, people, the main question they get me is, well, before he ratted on them, they try to, set him up and they kidnapped them. And I can't comment on stuff that I don't know. This is what I tell people. If you going off about what you read in the papers and bloggers, and
Yeah,
if I wasn't in somebody's circle and I don't know what's going on, I don't get too deep into it. What I do know is, where I grew up, people I grew up around, the people who taught me the rules to the game, that is probably the first rule they tell you. Before I even stepped foot into the water, that was the first thing. So, like, listen, if you can't deal with this, then you just don't come. You know what I mean?
true indeed. True indeed. That was early conversation in your entrance into the game. That was very very serious.
Yeah, and I knew his younger supporters were not going to care about that, because it's a new world. You know what I mean? It's an internet world. So, especially people who've never been in the street, I don't even expect them to try to understand what it means. You know what I mean? So, but you listen, the kid came out, uh, took the internet by storm. 2 million people on his live. And let me say, I tuned in, because let me tell you why. I'm a sponge. I like to learn. So
Information.
Yeah, and this he kind of has his niche. He knows the internet is his niche. So, and he works the hell out of it. You know what I mean? He for whatever made the best of his situation. Let me say that. I didn't think it was gonna work that well. Well, once I knew somebody when he was in jail, somebody gave him a deal. I knew already that there was more bags to come. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So you didn't have to think about what his supporters were. Those people who were willing to sign a check, I think it was like $10 million, or that was the rumor going around. They do the math on that. They're not going to give this kid $10 million and they don't expect to get their money back. They already knew. So it's little things like that I was just paying attention to. That's in business,
In
you got
business.
you got to be able to read between those lines. Because that's if they gave him 10 million, what you think they made? They're not going to give him 10 million to make less. People are making money, and the one bad thing when people ask me is I talk about this. He's not. For those who don't know, he's not in witness protection. So
Nope.
he's not in witness protection. He's basically just paying for, or they're paying for his security. And the fucked up part about that is you kind of like you got the chain around your foot and your ankle, the ball and chain, because if they tell you, listen, hop on one foot, and you don't, are you gonna say no to the people who are paying for your security? So it
Ooh.
puts him in a situation where he's pretty much,
Powerless.
yeah, you know what I mean? So with all the money and jewelry, and it's great. I understand people look at it that way, but if that label or that funding stops, what does that kid do now? So who's telling what he's willing to do at this point?
That's a fact. You got a million memes. Like they said that you saw that there was a meme that just came up today that he told on Beanie Man and and Bounty Killer that they wasn't wearing no mask at the verses.
Yeah. No, look, it was crazy because he threw up the a video that was he deleted on his Instagram with the Snoop Dogg situation.
Oh yeah, that
Um,
was crazy.
which was crazy. You know what I mean? And well, another interesting thing, I brought this up to somebody. Everybody, like in the music world, I know they seen a story, but you gotta pay attention to this. The Billboard charts. I don't know if y'all seen the video that he
Yeah.
posted with Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber, basically manipulating the charts. Now, let me tell you this. My theory on that is, first of all, they probably let him out there to get more information. We all know that.
True indeed.
The hip hop has been hated in the music industry since it started. It's not something that the upper powers are a fan of. You know
True
what I
indeed.
mean? So with that being said, I also believe that he didn't know in detail about that. And I don't want to I don't want to put anybody into what I'm about to say, but
Speculate.
I do know a few people, and I was told that a few record labels and companies reached out to 6ix9ine and put him on about the
The
Billboard
credit cards and
situation.
all that shit.
He wasn't actually the one dig who dug in deep and found. It was other labels who have artists under them that, because this how real the telling thing is. They don't want to tell. But since he's already telling, they're like, here's the information, put it
Mm.
out there. You don't want to be an enemy of one of the biggest markets in music, which is Billboard. You know what I mean? So people are smart.
Without having no backing. If he for him to make that move, it had to be sanctioned almost. You know what I
Oh,
mean? On a
of
low.
course, of course. And for those that are in tune with everything, we know that's how the world works, especially when it comes to that. And like I said, hip hop has always been the number one hated music genre in the world. So to have hip hop or rap artists top the charts with songs like his, they don't really like that. You know what I mean? And What you know what's funny? I also brought up I can't remember this guy's name. Oh, Little Nas X with the
with the
cowboy song.
Cowboys.
Um, Another young kid who came out of nowhere and became very very successful. If that type of song is, I think, what saved him. But I thought that the people behind him knew the juice was gonna run out, and that's when the coming out the closet thing came out for him.
True indeed.
I'm waiting for him to come out and say that was a lie. That's just my opinion on it.
I agree with you on that one. I agree
I
with you on that one.
I think the big labels have found a way to find these indie artists, and you don't have to make an album anymore. Like, they know they can make a song, and if you can reach that top 10 in the billboards, your life changes, a lot of people's life changes, your bookings change, your prices change, and people have figured that out. And I know the labels are upset already. Like, they're already dipping into the world of, for those who don't know, like, Leo Cohen, I've got to sit down with him very shortly in my job, thanks to my job.
I need you, and before, after you go into this, you need to speak about some of the people that you have met at Cats,
Yeah,
because you
no,
done
yo,
did met.
I'll definitely get into that because that was a whole life changing situation. One of them was Leo Cohen, and a big fan of Leo. I just feel like he's like a bully to me. You know what I mean? As far as, like, he just doesn't take no shit. But I spoke with him briefly, and because, busy guys, he's one of those guys that he's really not gonna give you the time of day. If you run into Leo on the street, I don't care who you are, what you're doing. If you're not involved, and he doesn't do it disrespectfully. You know what I mean? He's just so about his business. But when I got to speak to him, one thing we spoke about was, I think he had left alone that 300 Entertainment that he was involved with his partner Kevin, and he told me he was president of Google Music. And I was just looking at this dude like, you know, people think that there's one avenue to this game, and like I always bring up, the internet is a widespread thing, and he just made me open my eyes in a little conversation. Like, you don't people out there pursuing music careers don't just have to pursue as being an artist. You know what I mean?
People are so so one track minded that they
Uh-huh.
think that if they're a rapper, that rap is the only way they can get into the industry. And there's so many. If you want to be a rapper, you could go in as the cameraman until you get position, and then
Uh-huh.
meet some people and network, and then be the rapper.
Yeah, one of the illest things I ever saw on the internet was a comment Lil Boosie made, and he was like, listen, if you got a man that's rapping, or female, whoever rapping or singing, whatever they doing, the best thing you can do is bring them the bag. Like, if you can book them a show, there's a piece of it. You're not gonna make what the artist makes. They gotta put in a little extra work. They gotta do the shows. They gotta do that. But you're gonna get a chunk. So if you listening and you got your boy or your homegirl and they out there, and this doesn't even go for music, artist wise, they get busy on walls, on canvases. Get them a gig. Get him a gig. That's how you work your way in, in a small management position. Just being that, middleman, and I'm sure they'll plug you with a couple dollars. You got people so fucking, like, almost a hater to see somebody else get the bigger bag. You know what I mean? And and just plugging yourself in like that. Once people know you getting gigs for other people, they're gonna reach out to you. You know what I mean? You're gonna become the connection, and that's pretty much what happened with me with the Vandal Hour. Being on there, people knew I had a reach to certain things, and it helped me out in so many avenues of my life. And back to my job, like, people I've met there. Let me think of, like, wow, so many. Like, whew. Let me just go with the people that I've just said hello and
Fat
goodbye to.
Joe, I know, is one.
Oh, Fat Joe's, man, one of the coolest dudes, comes in there, shows everybody love. Uh, uh, There, what's my guy from Lethal Weapon? Danny Glover.
Oh yeah, that yeah.
Oh man, coolest dude. He used to be able to. I used to be able to sit there and talk with him for days. John Sally, former NBA player,
Cardi
coolest.
B.
Oh, Cardi B, that was a crazy one. I ain't even gonna lie. When Cardi B came in there, I was excited because we all from the bottom, and that was all our dreams. You know what I mean? Was to from really nothing. You know what I mean? And to be
You
a
put
New
me on to
Yorker.
her. You the first person that put me on to her. You and Facts was the first people to
Yo,
put me
and,
on her.
and let me tell you, I was following her before she was wilding on Instagram. She was always bad. She always had the body from dancing and stuff. And I tell people this all the time. Like Cardi B used to lead a strip club, go on her Instagram, and I was up and about at that time. We were all living that life, and 4 or 5 in the morning, Cardi B is rapping, counting her money, like freestyling her crib, and I knew that attitude she had, that I don't care about, it was gonna happen for her. So when she came in, I was excited. Another one, man, this was crazy. Mr. T.
That's crazy.
That was a
Did he have the jewelry on?
he had some of it. Not as much as we used to seeing him, but he definitely had a lot of jewelry on. And let me tell you, you don't understand. Like I've met assholes, like celebrity assholes there. And to be honest with you, 50 had posted something. I saw a post about 50 when he took a shot at
Al
somebody.
Jabbar, Kareem
Yeah.
Abdul-Jabbar.
And let me tell you, that is a fact. You know me, I'm a super fan of sports. The dude is, if you're a fan of him, I
Say
hope
it. Say
you
it.
never you never run into him in the street, because he's definitely not a people person. He doesn't enjoy the fan thing. Like he looks at you like weird. Like I didn't have an awkward thing with him, but they already told me. And when he came into my job, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a real asshole. You know what I mean? So, sometimes that ruins it for people. Thank God
Sure
that's
indeed.
probably the only person that I've met. And let me tell you, I've met multi-millionaires, like the CEO of Craigslist, the creator of Crocs. Like I've sat down, like me, if I see people like that, I'm a sponge. I approach them. It was going on. I sit there, have the little breakfast or lunch with them, just to soak up, to have a conversation. And these guys will really, if they know you're interested in that, in getting better, they talk with you. So being in that place, it is crazy. The people I mean, and it's a long list of more
I
people.
know you. It was a time like every couple of days you're taking a picture with someone famous, or you was coming back to the block with a story about who someone you met. I was like regularly.
Yeah, no, one of my biggest connects. Let me shout out to Jason from Hot 97. Me and that dude became real cool. I met him through somebody else from Hot 97 that used to come to my job, and he's the executive producer of the Ebro in the Morning show. And me and him, like this dude was still, we met humbly, and I take care of him and his people when they're in town, and when Summer Jam comes around, he makes sure he calls me, he takes care of me. But he's the type of dude, like birthdays, holidays, he'll still shoot me a text, like, happy birthday, or, Merry Christmas to the family. Like, you meet people in that place, and as long as you're a genuine dude, you really could take those connections far away. Like, I'm talking Adam Sandler, Chris Rock in there. Big time dudes that place really, I thought work was different. Where we grew up, you think job is like fuck this, and this taxes and breaking your back. But thankfully, I have friends who put me in a situation that it worked out for me. You know what I mean? So grateful for that.
They've been
And
and Cat's been around for over 100 years.
yeah, 132 years now.
Wow.
We've been open through the entire pandemic. We've already probably sent out over 5,000, 6,000 lunches to first responders. Um, and it's tough. Let me say,
Let's
for
talk
everybody.
about that. Let's talk about the COVID-19 and like how it has affected your life?
Um, it's tough. Let me say, it's scary. I ain't gonna say that. I'm one of those that always read between the lines. I do feed into the conspiracy sometimes, not too much, but I do pay attention to them because sometimes there's some truth
Sure, indeed.
between the lines. You know what I mean? But um, it is. Let me not say it was. It is a scary moment in life because, in my opinion, I don't believe that something the way it spread across the world, not just New York and the United States. There's no way in the world, in my opinion, this could be just like this person coughed on this person or this person sneezed on this person and it spread as fast as it did
Mm.
all over the world. You don't have to be a scientist or a fucking biochemist to understand that. It's not possible for it to touch every corner of the globe as fast as it did by person to person contact. You know what I mean? So it's scary to know what people and things people are capable of. But thankfully my job has been open, and it's even scary being in there. But we take every precaution. I have friends, obviously, who've had family members who passed away from the COVID-19, and it's a moment in time where, if you know me, if anybody knows Sinatra, I've been a hermit. Like I've been
Me
a
too. So
quarantine.
we've been social distant before that shit was a word. I mean, a
Yeah, and
phrase.
because not because of like stuff that I've been through or anything like that, just because you kind of like the same way, God. Like you have to be you have to be different to be for me to be around you because after you get a certain age, you know what I mean. You got to trust what you say around people and who you bring into your circle and the reasons why they there. So before this, I was already like that, but I believe it. It's an illness that could take you out if you don't pay attention to it. People think that, just because you're a lot younger and stuff like that, that it won't affect you. But the effects of it is if you can get it. And let me say, the scariest part about this, they can't give you anything for it. There is no medication for it. What they can do for you is if you go to the hospital and you tell them, or they find out that you do have COVID-19, if they see you can breathe on your own, they just tell you to go home and quarantine yourself,
Which is crazy.
which is crazy. And the only ones that stay in the hospital are the ones who need the ventilators, which are funded by the insurance companies. You know what I mean? So you already
Mm-hmm.
know how that goes.
True indeed.
There is no medication for it to this day. And so knowing that, like me, let me tell you, you know me, I'm paranoid of all types of shit. Though I do the glove thing, I do the mask thing, and I don't do it just for me. I do it for the people around me. You know what I mean?
True indeed.
And I think people have to just keep that in mind. Like I don't wear my mask and my gloves every day just so I can be safe. The people around me, I still run into friends and family, so I don't want to be the reason that it gets anywhere else. But it's a fucking scary day. Somebody said something crazy to me. I don't know if you heard about this. You know how everybody who wears glasses or anything like that, we always talk about vision. What is the best vision? It's always the what?
2020.
And what year are we in?
2020.
And somebody brought that to my attention of this was the year where you're gonna see what it really is, like what the people are really about, meaning like maybe your governments, your officials. Even now when they opening up the city, like we all know they open it up for economical reasons, it's still not safe, but I do understand people need to pay bills. Oh, and big quick big shout out to Mario's gas
I want
station.
you took one of my topics, man.
That dude, for those who don't know, Salerno Auto Body and Mario's gas station been there for years. Since I was a kid. I'm 36, so since I was a kid, like this guy has given back. to people for nothing. You know what I mean? Never asked for anything back. And since a kid, Lamborghinis in the gas station, like that was like a little field trip whenever you went to Mario's gas station. You know, he got on, he did
Jay Z didn't rent their cars from Mario. Let me just say
yeah,
that.
like a lot of things go on with Mario. You know what I mean? If you know Mario, and you know he got on the Ellie show, which is huge for him. Um, so yeah, shout out to him. He canceled ran for all his tennis, and I think that people. I'll tell you one thing: people gonna appreciate life and human contact a little bit more now, and how much it is important to have that contact with people, because whether it's business or just socializing, like I don't ever think that even to the end of the year of 2020, this is going to be, it's not close to being over. You know what I mean?
I think we're gonna be wearing masks forever.
Yeah, I think mentally it's fucked people up forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even I felt bad, to be honest with you, even for the Asian culture. You know what I mean? Because
true indeed.
I have Asian friends. I have people we've done business with,
I live next
and
door. I live next door to two Asian families.
but mentally, you know, it's such a scary thing that sometimes people don't want to take the chance. But you know, with fucking as my man Michael Rappaport calls him Dick Stain, Donald Trump. Um, when he's calling it the Chinese virus, I just thought it was stupid. You know what I mean? I know people are upset. God bless anybody who's lost anybody to the virus, but it's
It was
it's not.
it wasn't right. It wasn't right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And not only just the Asians, like it makes people realize now, you know, small businesses too that are really getting shut down. This is all. It was hard for people before this. So if you didn't get involved before, now is really the time for everybody listening to get in on those small businesses, on your local businesses. I mean, even if it's a black owned business, a Latin owned business, you know, any small owned business that you know you grew up in that neighborhood, if it's a little something you could go in there and spend a couple dollars, or your local entrepreneurs. You know what I mean?
True indeed.
You gotta support, you know, as much as you can, because this bounce back is gonna have to come from the people for these small businesses. So it's real important, you know what I mean? So
Let me
if everybody, and when this does go out, when you put out this interview, you know what I mean, y'all can hit me up on Instagram, which is E_Sinatra_NYC. You know, if you into clothing and stuff like that, hit me up. You know, whatever business you got, I'll try to support as much as I can, and I'll give you a post and a shout out on my Instagram. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start doing that a lot more now, because it's little things now to help. You know, we've always been that type.
true indeed.
If we could try to put a plug out there and give somebody some light, you know, I'm all for it. So when this goes up and you upload it, you know, if you're listening, you could contact, you know, the Vandal Hour or S.TREET Media. They'll have my info directly. You hit me up. I have no problem posting or and supporting. You know what I mean? And besides that,
But I
you
want to
said,
before you go into side, let me say this. What you had said something. I want to say something to the Asian situation with the Trump thing, and let me just say this when it comes to like the internet. It seems that um a lot of the hate mongering, fear mongering is happening. For example, all you see now is police beating up black people, right? All you
I
s-
agree.
all you see now is um, the Asians kicking beefing with the Africans in Asia.
Yeah.
Then you see the blacks beefing with the Asians in New York and California, but it's filling up Instagram ridiculously. I think that they're trying to see a lot of people is getting emotional going outside where they see police, any interaction, they on a thousand. What you call it? Blacks is looking at Asians crazy, Asians looking at black people crazy. I think that they're trying to get everyone to be against each other instead of looking at the real problem. The real problem is the people in the dark that you was talking about. But
Bro, I agree. I
you
agree.
know what I mean? I just want to say that, man.
I agree. Their weapon has always been separation. You know, everybody knows that. Their fear is for people to be together. You know what I mean? That's the biggest fear that these 1%ers, as we like to call them, that's their biggest fear. And it's crazy because I live close by the Jewish neighborhoods, and I've saw the same videos you've seen, and it upsets me too. You know what I mean? Like I see it, and I'm just like, damn. This we were just not even getting over, but still trying to deal with cops killing in the black community and the young black community, and we weren't even over that. You know what I mean?
True
And
indeed.
now this, it's like, wow. The best thing you could do is, like you said, you know what I mean? You got to pay attention to who's really out there for you, and that hatred. Like, you got to understand, y'all, they put certain stuff out there for you to feel some type of way. Doesn't
Mm.
just because they speak on it doesn't mean it's true. It's a shame that we even have to say that, but don't think just because they have an outlet and they say these things that they're facts, cause they're not. You know what I mean? I grew up around very diverse community with a lot of friends and people who've been all over the world, and like you said, their key is to separate. So, you know what I mean? Once again, if you could support, hold somebody down, and try to keep it together. If you want to get back at them, that's the way to do it without getting yourself into some trouble. You know what I mean? But shout out to all of the ones that's really out there on them front lines, putting their life on the line as well
True
to
indeed.
try to get that word out. You know what I mean? Because we show love and respect for all of them, and the first responders, man. Big shout out to the first responders. And let me say this: it not only just like nurses and doctors and FDNY and all those other people. Like I'm talking like Uber Eats people and fucking
The
seniors.
bodega.
Yeah, like the people that they're not talking about that's still out there every fucking day. I use all these apps. Shout out to you guys. I would be starving if it wasn't for you guys. So you know what I mean? One thing I hope that if all this negativity from this fucking coronavirus brings is, a little more togetherness, you know what I mean? Just cause you from the hood, or you feel like, you have that chip on your shoulder, it don't mean shit to, hold somebody down or show some love, you know what I mean? Because we're gonna need that to bring back our small businesses and our young entrepreneurs, or just our up and coming entrepreneurs. If it ain't us to do it, nobody gonna do it. So make sure you hold them down. But
Wait, I'm gonna say this. Speaking of supporting local people, the young boy Larry
oh
from
yeah,
Williamsburg, man. Have you?
shout out to him.
Let's talk about that, man. How you feeling about this dude? He's on news on every channel now. He's moving and grooving, man. How you feel about that?
I think he deserves it. You know what I mean? I haven't sat down and spoke with the kid face to face yet, but I did reach out to him on Instagram, and we chatted. Like, I hit him in the comments, and he hit me back up. Um, the kid does shit that people think is fucking easy, but it's really not. And it is a talent. The kid has a talent, and he also is really good at basketball. Like, if you look him up on YouTube, they do have series of. He's got injured recently, so this is, I think, where the trick shot thing had came into play. He has some downtime, but I've seen the kid's highlights, and the kid could ball. Like, when he's on the court, he gets it in. So I hope he has a real big future in basketball. And you know how we are. God, we think of the bigger picture. So I'm going to try to link with this kid and try to work out a few things, because I really think that his personality and his love for basketball is going to get him to where he needs to be. I watched them fucking trick shots, man, and I'm just like, when I saw Williamsburg, I caught it through Instagram. I'm like, oh shit, this look like Williamsburg, and then I started following the kid, and I'm like, oh shit, you
Yeah,
know,
that's that's
that's
that's one of my son's friends, God.
wow, you know what I mean? He's on to something, and I hope that he puts himself on around the right people because he could really make something happen on the positive side with that. Growing up in the hood, you don't get too many opportunities. And for him to be that young and to have his name already out there, he got a head start. So shout out to Larry. I fucking don't know his
Last
Instagram.
name, but shout out to Winsburg Projects, Larry. I think you could go on. Just put
Oh,
if you go to any search engine, just
yeah.
put trick shots.
Yeah.
Kid doing trick shots, and he's on every news
Yeah,
network.
I actually just got it up now. It's LCF underscore Larry, LARRY. He's at about 40,000 followers right now. Um, his name is Larry Moreno. He goes by the Dominican Mamba. So if you listen and follow him, and his Instagram will have you on the wow factor, man. Shout out to Larry. Shout out to everybody in Williamsburg doing their thing. That's always
That's a
hometown.
fact. Yo, shout out to everybody in Winsburg Block 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the way from Morja to motherfucking Skulls, baby.
Yeah, man. Always love for the and big. Always want to stress that because even events we had and stuff you were doing, whether it be T-shirts or events you was throwing, I was surprised at the people that would show up or show out and come endorse the product or purchase the product. I'm talking from ages from 16 to 60.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So you'd be surprised, y'all, if you put your time and effort into it, people will support. You got to show the people that you're willing to work, you know what I mean? And you was one of those people that stuck to it. So, you deserved all of that came your way, man. I was surprised that even some of the people that will be like, yo, I'm coming to the event. And I was just like, wow, you know what I mean? That's one of the prized possessions of having your own, you know what I mean? You control your narrative and always one thing, let me say, shout out to Drink Champs too. I'm a big fan of Nori show.
Me too. Shout out to them.
He said something that I know you would agree with, and I know you would have made the same decision. He was offered big checks from big companies. You know what I mean? And one thing he said he didn't take it because they would have put a filter on his show. He couldn't talk about the things he wanted to talk about the way he wanted to talk about them. And if you out there, once again, scrolls S.STREET Media, it
That's a
gives you
fact.
that opportunity to put out your podcast the way you want to do it. Talk about what you want to talk about. You know what I mean? So if you're looking to do something like that, holla at the people. You're gonna have a platform and a space to not only do a show, to do events, to do a lot of things to get people together, and they'll help you. Let me just say this: Ghost Street Media is not going to leave you there to do your show and hang you and like here you go, here's your
Now we
slot.
trying to win.
Yeah, it's a team effort over there at Ghost Street Media. So if you're looking to do a podcast or throw an event, go holler at them. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a lot of support. And it's the way to go, man. Independence the way to go. You wanted to do to proving that from ground up. You know what I mean?
I want.
You start you
Oh,
started it somewhere else and you learned what you needed to learn and you took advantage of that knowledge and look, man, you've been doing this too long for people not to give you your flowers. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you on that, man. For real, for real. I want to say this. In June, we are relaunching S.STREET Media. A lot. We are doing a full upgrade in so many ways. I want to go into it. If you go to www.sstreetmedia.net, you'll see a couple of things. Go to YouTube, check out YouTube page. It's looking kind of crazy too. But yeah, we doing a full upgrade for June. So be on the lookout for that. I want to say something to you, man. We coming towards the end, but as I said before, I appreciate you so much for being an intricate part of. I'm going to say S.STREET Media because the Vandal Hour was the first block to to where we was going to become S.STREET Media. So I appreciate you for all the time that you have put in with the Vandal Hour and still do. You already know you if whenever you get your creative bug on, you already know the opportunity is always there. We have some ideas, people too. Don't think that it
Of
died at
course.
the Vandal Hour. No, we have some other ideas too. But I appreciate you. But one of the things I want to say to you is I want to bring up Facts on Wax. My man, my homie.
Of course.
What you
The
call it?
home.
We have an art show coming up in June from pyramids, from projects to pyramids coming up in June. But y'all had a great chemistry together. Why do you think so many people connected with E. Sinatra and Facts on Wax? What was it about? What do
Well,
you think?
I'm tell you what I got from Facts on Wax. Why me? I felt so comfortable around him. He's a genuine dude. You know what I mean?
True
Let me.
indeed.
And he loves what he does. You know what I mean? When you meet people like that, it's you. It's hard not to like them. If somebody doesn't like him, it's probably out of jealousy, in my opinion, because the dude is a genuine dude. He's funny. He's cool.
Super
And
funny.
if he could help, he's there. You know, he's one of them dudes that you didn't have to ask. You know what I mean? He's cool. And the we were like two worlds apart. And let me just say this: like Facts on Wax history with me goes before the Vandal Hour as well. You know what I mean?
True indeed.
Stuff that we can't even mix up. You know what I mean? And put out there, but we weren't. I was on another side of him. You know, at one point he was at a war with some people. You know what I mean? Way back in the day, and I was on the other side. And to come down to the future to meet him and, and be like, wow. And we spoke about it. You know, me and Fax, we spoke about it. Like, that was you? Like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So the Vandal Hour was definitely something that had to happen for me because it filled a void. You know what I mean? It was I loved radio, but to the graffiti world, I grew up around it. Like a lot of writers that I grew up around was writers was the one who put me onto fashion and Bud, and I was around hustlers my whole life, but the writers was like the ones with the North Face Extremes and the polo and the Bud. They would chill and do the like the group thing. Like, yo, we all chill and come through. So shout out to everybody out there in the graph world. It's still alive. We still supporting y'all. And let me say this: the Vandal Hour and Skull Street Media is never going to end. And like you said, I'll just say this: it's definitely going to happen with Sinatra and Skull Street Media. There's no question about it.
You hear that, people?
You know what I mean? So for everybody listening, the show will happen. Um, in the future, it's definitely going to happen. On Skull Street Media, I will be doing a podcast there
They
for
call you.
sure.
They call you the water cronkite, the Puerto Rican water cronkite. That's what
Yeah,
everybody
no,
called you.
yeah, no, and I appreciate the love that everybody sends from I got from that show. So it will happen. It will happen on Skull Street Media, probably sooner than you guys think. And we just gonna continue to bring you guys information and fun and stuff that you're not gonna get nowhere else. You know what I mean? Genuine stuff because it's coming from the real people who started from the bottom as well. So once again, always a big shout out to the Vandal Hour, Scotia
Any
Media.
shout outs you want to give?
Oh shit. It's definitely a lot, but I'm gonna keep it short. always Vandal Hour first. That Vandal Hour family. June 457 always keeps cool. Still keep in contact. Facts. Shout out to Facts. You know what I mean. I know some been going through a lot of stuff. You're a good dude. Always a big shout out to him. Wow. Fuck.
Winsburg, baby.
Swift. Swift. Shout out to Swift. Cool dude, DJ Swift. I know he got his show on social media. Go support that.
I was just with him last night. He's moving and grooving too. Moving and grooving too.
And all my hometown people's Williamsburg. You go check EFC BBB underscore EFC. He got a lot of shit going on. That's my day
He
one
got the
homie.
mask and shit right now.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna try my hardest to really get in tune with supporting. So listening, contact social media, or you can hit me up on Instagram, E _Sinatra _NYC. Hit me in the DM, hit me on Instagram. Let me know what you're doing, what you got involved, and I'll try to support as much as I can. And stay tuned for that Sinatra podcast on Scholes Street Media, because it will happen. It
That's a
will happen.
fact. That's a fact. Yo, I appreciate you for doing the show. Before we go out though, today's mathematics, 'cause this is my new thing. Today's mathematics is wisdom, culture, or freedom, or being born to equality. I'm gonna say that one more time. Wisdom, culture, or freedom, or being born to equality. Equality is to deal equal in all aspects of life, man. You gotta, if you gotta share with the people, man. Especially the people that may not have as you do. I appreciate you, God, man, and I'm ready to be a co-executive producer and get back into in what we do because I already know they always ask about you. You and Facts is one of it's the heart and soul of it, and they always ask about your too. That's if anyone is asked about, is your too.
Now, and it's gonna happen. We gonna give the people what they want. It's gonna happen. And thank you to you for getting me involved in the beginning. You know what I mean? It was something that I had so much fun doing. I enjoyed doing it, and I want to do it again. So big shout out to you for always keeping me in tune with what's going on over there and keeping me in the loop and giving a platform. You know what I mean? You giving not only me, a lot of people a platform um for this whole thing. And shout out and recipe Sean P.
Facts.
Um
Rest
I
in
see
peace.
Stuck Beast had his thing with you going
He's
on.
still
Like,
here.
yeah, I see them. I see them on Facebook and Instagram. I follow them and support them too. So shout out to everybody who got a podcast out there holding it down for the team. Coming soon. I will be there. And God, just keep your foot on their necks, man.
You already know, man. Highland and shit, man. They can only be one. You heard?
You already, man. Stay up, stay safe, stay healthy, bro. And you link with me whenever. You already know that.
Yo, peace to the guard. Tell your moms I said hi. And yo, send me 3 pictures I could use to advertise.
I got you, man. Stay up, y'all. It's the Vandal Hour on Skull Street Media. Peace.
Peace.